His phone buzzed on my kitchen counter, and the lock screen lit up with "Baby, room 1408, don't be late." I snatched it like it was burning, because his shower was still running and the water hadn't even stopped. I didn't unlock it. I didn't need to. The message preview was already a confession, and the timestamp was from 2 minutes ago. The shower cut off. I shoved the phone back exactly where it was, screen down, then slid my own phone out of my pocket and opened my camera like I was just scrolling. I framed the counter, the phone, the message still glowing faintly under the glass reflection, and took 3 fast photos before the screen went dark. The bathroom door clicked. He walked out with a towel around his waist, hair dripping, humming like nothing in the world could touch him. His eyes went straight to the counter, straight to the phone, then to me. "You hungry?" he said, and he smiled like we were normal. I nodded like I was normal. He reached for the phone too casually, but his hand hesitated the tiniest bit, like he remembered it wasn't supposed to light up near me. He picked it up, flipped it over, thumb hovering. The message was gone when he looked. He relaxed. Not fully, just enough. "I'm gonna run out," he said. "Quick errand." His voice was light, but his knees did that micro-bounce people do when they're already halfway out the door in their head. "Where?" I asked. "Just stuff," he said, and then he leaned in to kiss my forehead like he was putting a lid on me. His lips landed and left, and my skin felt like it had been stamped. He went to the bedroom and started pulling on jeans. I watched his back while my brain did math I didn't ask it to do. Room number, tone, don't be late, the way he didn't even try to lie with details. He didn't need to. He thought I was furniture. His phone chimed again from inside the bedroom. Not loud, just loud enough. He froze for half a second, then kept moving like he hadn't heard it. That told me everything. People don't ignore messages unless they're afraid of what the next one might say. I followed him into the doorway like I was about to ask what he wanted for dinner. He was holding the phone at hip level, angling it away from me, eyes darting fast, thumb flying, deleting, clearing, scrubbing the evidence while he stood in our room like it belonged to him. "Who's texting?" I asked, soft. He didn't look up. "My buddy." I watched his jaw tighten around the lie. He jammed the phone into his pocket and finally met my eyes, like daring me to question it. He'd trained me for years. Don't pry, don't be that girl, don't make things weird. If I pushed, he'd get cold. If I pushed harder, he'd get angry. If I pushed hardest, he'd punish me with silence until I apologized for catching him. He grabbed his keys off the dresser. His hand shook just a little, because he knew he was cutting it close. "Be back in an hour," he said. He said it like he was doing me a favor. I stepped aside to let him pass, and as he brushed by, his pocket vibrated again. I felt it against my hip for a split second, like a living thing desperate to expose him. He didn't stop walking. He didn't even pretend. The front door slammed. The lock clicked. His footsteps vanished down the hall. And then the apartment got so quiet it felt like it was waiting to see what I'd do. I went to the window and watched him cross the parking lot. He didn't glance back. He didn't hesitate. He got into his car like he'd been rehearsing it, started the engine, and pulled out fast, like he was already late for something important. My hands were steady. That scared me more than shaking would've. I went back to the counter and opened my photos. The message was there, sharp as a knife. "Baby, room 1408, don't be late." Room 1408. That's not a house. That's not a buddy. That's a hotel. I zoomed in until the pixels broke, like making it bigger would make it less real. It didn't. It just made the words louder. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't call him. I opened my browser and typed the name of the closest hotel without thinking, like my fingers already knew. It popped up with pictures of clean sheets and smiling couples and a lobby bar that looked exactly like a place men take their lies to get tucked in. I typed 1408 into my notes app like it was a code. Then I opened our shared calendar, because he loved putting his life everywhere except in front of me. Work meeting, gym, errand, nothing that explained this. I pulled up our bank app. There it was, sitting right at the top like it wanted to be found, a pending charge from the hotel from 2 days ago. Not huge, just enough to blend in with groceries and gas. Just enough to say, "I've been doing this." My throat went tight anyway, not from sadness, from rage trying to fit through a small space. 2 days ago, he'd kissed me goodbye in the morning and told me he loved me. 2 days ago, he'd texted me a heart emoji at lunch. 2 days ago, he'd come home smelling like soap and said the gym showers were finally fixed. I stared at the charge until the numbers stopped being numbers and started being fingerprints. My phone rang. His name flashed on the screen. He never calls unless he needs something. I answered on the second ring. "Hey." His voice was too bright. "Babe, can you do me a favor?" There it was. The script. "What's up?" I said, and my voice didn't crack. That scared me too. "I might be a little longer," he said. "If you order food, just get something for you. Don't wait up." He was making space. He was buying time. He was building his alibi while he drove toward room 1408. Okay, I said. He exhaled like he'd just dodged something. Love you, I said back, and I tasted metal as the lie left my mouth. He hung up fast, like he had somewhere to be. I stood in the middle of our kitchen holding my phone, looking at the photo of his betrayal, and the only thought in my head was stupidly simple. I'm not going to catch him later. I'm going to catch him now. I grabbed my jacket. I grabbed my keys. Then I stopped and went back to the bedroom. His dresser drawer was still half open from him rushing. Inside, tucked under his socks, was a small black box I'd never seen before. Not jewelry. Not anything for me. I opened it. 2 condoms. 1 missing. The air in the room changed, like the apartment itself finally understood what kind of man lived in it. I put the box back exactly how it was, closed the drawer, and walked out like I hadn't just watched my whole relationship die in a sock drawer. I left the apartment and locked the door behind me. As I reached my car, my phone buzzed with a new notification. Not from him. From an unknown number. Is this his girlfriend? Please tell me it's not. I stared at it so long my screen dimmed. Then it buzzed again. He said you two broke up. I'm outside 1408. My chest went cold, like someone had poured ice water directly into my lungs. Because that meant I wasn't the only one walking toward that door, and whatever was behind it was about to explode. My tires hit the highway too fast, and that unknown number sat on my screen like a loaded gun. I didn't text back with a question. I didn't ask who she was. I just typed, "Stay there. Don't go in. What's your name?" and tossed the phone into the cup holder like it might bite me. A reply snapped back before I even hit the next exit. Maya. He's in the lobby. He told me to wait by the elevators. Lobby. Elevators. This wasn't a fantasy in his head. This was logistics. This was practiced. I pulled into the hotel parking lot and parked crooked in the first spot I saw, heart calm in that terrifying way it gets right before something violent happens. The building looked like every other hotel, glass doors, fake plants, bright lights meant to make you feel safe while people ruin their lives inside. My phone buzzed again. Maya, he just texted I'm on my way up. I didn't respond. I shoved my phone into my pocket and walked in. The lobby smelled like lemon cleaner and cheap perfume. A couple checked in at the desk, laughing. A man wheeled a suitcase like he was arriving for vacation. I walked past them like I was invisible, like I wasn't carrying a bomb in my ribs. Then I saw him. He stood near the elevators, hands in his pockets, tapping one foot like a kid waiting for a ride. Hair still damp, shirt he only wore when he wanted attention. His eyes scanned the lobby, not for me, never for me, just for the woman he'd called baby. He glanced at his phone and smiled at it. I felt my teeth pressed together so hard my jaw ached. A woman stood 10 feet away from him, near a brochure rack, pretending to read about local attractions while her fingers gripped her purse strap. Dark hair, red lipstick, nervous energy. She looked up when the elevator dinged, then looked away fast, like she didn't want the front desk to clock what she was doing. Maya. She looked nothing like me. That was its own kind of insult, like he'd built separate categories in his head. The girlfriend who keeps the fridge stocked, and the girl he takes to hotels. He stepped toward her the moment the elevator doors opened, like he was magnetized. That was when I walked directly between them. He almost collided with me. His whole face changed in 1 second, surprise, then panic, then anger so quick it was like watching someone slam doors in a hallway. "What the hell are you doing here?" he hissed, low enough that the desk clerk wouldn't hear. I didn't answer him. I looked at Maya. Up close, her eyes were wide and glossy, like she was realizing she'd been sold a lie and couldn't return it. "Are you Maya?" I asked. She swallowed. "Yeah. My boyfriend," whipped his head toward her. "Don't talk to her." He wasn't scared of hurting me. He was scared of losing control of the story. Maya blinked at him. "You said you were single." He laughed once, sharp and fake. "I said we were complicated." I pulled my phone out and held it up, screen turned toward Maya first. The photo. The lock screen. The words. "Baby, room 1408, don't be late." Maya's mouth parted like she'd been slapped. Then I turned it toward him. His eyes went straight to the screen and then away, like looking at it would make it real. His nostrils flared. "Give me that," he snapped, reaching. I stepped back. "No." His voice dropped into that familiar tone, the one meant to make me small. "You're embarrassing yourself." I laughed, and it sounded wrong in my own ears. "In a hotel lobby?" Maya's hand shook. "You told me you broke up with her months ago." He snapped at her like she was the problem. "Shut up." The desk clerk finally looked up, attention sharpening. My boyfriend noticed and pasted on a smile so fast it was terrifying. He turned to me, voice suddenly soft like he was performing for the room. "Babe, can we talk upstairs? Just you and me. You're making a scene." He said it like I was the crazy one who showed up to a hotel where he'd booked a room to cheat. I looked at the elevator doors, still open, waiting like an invitation to go somewhere private where he could twist it all. No, I said. We talk here. His smile cracked. Please. That single word almost worked, because it was so familiar, him asking me to cover his mess. Then Maya stepped closer, eyes burning now. What's in room 1408? He shot her a warning look. Nothing. Maya pointed at the elevator. Then cancel it. Right now. Tell the desk you don't need it. He didn't move. That silence was the loudest confession. The desk clerk cleared his throat. Sir, is everything okay? My boyfriend straightened like he'd been caught stealing. Yeah, fine. Just, misunderstanding. I turned to the clerk, keeping my voice steady. He booked a room here. Room 1408. I'd like to know if my name is on it. My boyfriend's head snapped toward me. Don't. The clerk hesitated, eyes flicking between us. I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't. Maya cut in, voice shaking but fierce. He used my card last time. I have the receipt. He told me it was for US. My boyfriend's face went white, then red. Last time. The clerk's expression shifted, professional, but alert now. Sir, I'm going to ask you to step aside. My boyfriend leaned toward me, teeth bared behind that fake smile. You're ruining my life. I stared right back. You did that. He grabbed my wrist, not hard enough to leave bruises in front of witnesses, just hard enough to remind me he could. Maya gasped. The clerk's chair scraped back. Let go, I said, quiet. He tightened for half a second, then released like he'd touched something poisonous. Babe, he said again, softer, trying a different weapon. Come on. Let's go upstairs. I'll explain. It's not what you think. Maya made a broken sound in her throat. It's exactly what she thinks. He spun on her. You don't know anything. She flinched, then held up her own phone with shaking hands. I know you sent me this. She tapped her screen and read out loud, voice cracking. I can't wait to have you in that bed again. Again. My vision tunneled. The lobby lights felt too bright. He lunged for her phone. Maya jerked back. The clerk stepped forward. 2 security guards appeared from nowhere like they'd been watching the whole time. Sir, one guard said, firm. Hands to yourself. My boyfriend's chest heaved. He looked around, calculating. He wasn't trapped because of feelings. He was trapped because of witnesses. He turned to me, eyes sharp. You want to do this? Fine. Let's do this. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet with a dramatic flourish, like he was about to prove something. Then he flashed a keycard between his fingers. Room 1408. He held it up like a trophy, like a threat. You wanna see? He said, voice low. Let's go see. Maya's face crumpled. The clerk's eyes widened. And my boyfriend smiled at me with that exact same smile he used at home when he thought I'd never leave. I stepped toward him and took the keycard from his fingers before he could react. His smile died, because now I was the one holding the door. The keycard felt warm in my fingers, like it had already been used today. He reached for it on instinct, then stopped himself when the security guard shifted closer. His jaw tightened. New calculation. New mask. Give it back, he said, through his teeth. I didn't answer. I walked toward the elevators. Maya hesitated for half a second, then followed me. Not beside him. Behind me. That's enough, he snapped, loud now. You're being dramatic. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime that didn't match what was about to happen. I stepped inside. Maya stepped in after me. The guard held the doors with his arm and looked at my boyfriend. Sir, he said. My boyfriend stared at me, then at the open elevator like it was a trap he could still avoid. People were watching now. The desk clerk. A couple by the coffee station. Eyes pretending not to stare. He walked in. The doors closed. No music. Just breathing. He stood opposite me, arms crossed, trying to look bored. Maya stood near the control panel, fingers hovering like she didn't know where to put them. I swiped the card. The light flashed green. I pressed 14. The elevator started moving, smooth and slow, like it had all the time in the world. Each floor ticked past like a countdown. You're making a mistake, he said, calm again. That calm always came when he thought he could still steer things. Whatever you think is happening, it's not that simple. I stared straight ahead. The mirrored wall showed his reflection trying to look relaxed. It showed Maya's face tight and pale. It showed me, eyes flat, mouth still. Maya broke first. How long? She asked him. He didn't answer her. He looked at me instead. This doesn't concern her. I laughed under my breath. Funny, you didn't say that when you booked the room. He exhaled sharply. You went through my stuff. No, I said. Your stuff walked into my kitchen and lit up. The elevator slowed. 14. The doors opened to a long hallway, beige carpet, identical doors, soft lighting meant to feel anonymous. The kind of place where voices echo if you raise them. The kind of place men rely on for privacy. Room 1408 was halfway down. I walked first. Every step felt unreal, like I was watching myself from behind. My heart wasn't racing. It was steady. That scared me. This wasn't adrenaline. This was resolve. He caught up to me and grabbed my arm again, harder this time. Stop. I turned so fast he didn't expect it. Take your hand off me, I said. He didn't. He leaned in, voice low and furious. You want to humiliate me? Fine. But don't drag her into it. Maya flinched behind me. You dragged me into it. I twisted my arm out of his grip. The skin burned where his fingers had been. Room 1408. I stopped in front of the door. The hallway was empty. No witnesses now. Just us and whatever he'd set up inside. My boyfriend stepped closer, blocking the door with his body. We don't need to do this. I held the keycard up between us. Move. He shook his head. You open that door, and there's no going back. That almost made me smile. There hasn't been for a while. Maya whispered, please. Not to him. To me. I slid the keycard. The lock beeped. He lunged for my hand, too late. The door swung open. The room smelled like cheap cologne and fresh sheets. The lights were already on. The bed was turned down. 2 glasses sat on the nightstand. Ice melting. A bottle of wine already opened. Not a first date. My stomach flipped, finally catching up to my brain. I stepped inside. His phone was on the desk, plugged in, screen lighting up with a new message as if on cue. I picked it up. Another notification from a contact saved as a heart emoji. Where are you? I'm here. I turned the phone toward Maya. She sucked in a breath that turned into a sob. There's someone else? He snapped. That's nothing. I scrolled. Messages stacked on messages. Different names. Same lines. Same jokes. Same promises. You're special. I've never felt this way. She doesn't understand me. Copy. Paste. Repeat. Maya backed into the wall like the room had tilted. How many? He exploded then. Enough. Give me the phone. He shoved past me and grabbed it from my hands, fingers shaking. You don't get to go through my private messages. I stared at the bed. 2 pillows fluffed. 1 on each side. You were going to bring someone else here after her? I asked. He followed my gaze and didn't answer. That was answer enough. Maya slid down the wall and sat on the carpet, arms wrapped around herself. I thought I was the only one. He rubbed his face hard. You're overreacting. I turned on him. There's an open bottle of wine. So you opened it before either of us got here. Silence. I walked to the bathroom and pushed the door open. 2 toothbrushes in the sink. Different colors. My chest finally tightened, like a door slamming shut inside me. I came back out holding one of them. Whose is this? He stared at it like he didn't recognize the object. I don't know. Lie better, I said. Maya let out a broken laugh from the floor. He told me he always stayed alone. He threw his hands up. I didn't think this mattered. I dropped the toothbrush into the trash. It matters, I said. Because you didn't just cheat. You built a system. He stared at me then, really stared, like he was finally realizing this wasn't something he could smooth over. You're going to regret this, he said quietly. I believed him. Men like him always think the regret belongs to someone else. I looked at Maya. Do you want to leave? She nodded immediately. We walked to the door together. He blocked it again. Get out of the way, I said. He didn't move. Then his phone buzzed again in his hand. Another woman. Another lie. I smiled for the first time that night. Because now I knew, this wasn't the end. It was just the point where he started losing control. His phone buzzed again, and this time he didn't even try to hide it. He stared at the screen like it was a lifeline. Then he did something that made my stomach drop. He answered. Hey, he said, voice soft, intimate, like I wasn't standing 3 feet away. Yeah, I'm here. Just, give me a minute. Maya's eyes went huge. Mine went dead. He lifted one finger at us like we were interrupting a business call, then turned his back and walked toward the window, lowering his voice as if the glass could protect him. I stepped forward and took the phone out of his hand mid-sentence. He spun, eyes wild, reaching for it. I held it up and put it on speaker. A woman's voice poured into the room, sharp and impatient. Are you joking? I'm literally outside the door. I can hear voices. Maya made a sound like she'd been punched. My boyfriend lunged again. Turn it off. I didn't. I spoke into the phone, calm as ice. Hi, who is this? Silence on the line. Then, who the hell are you? I'm the girlfriend, I said. The one he lives with. The woman laughed, but it was brittle. He said you were his ex. Maya shot a look at my boyfriend like she was finally seeing the pattern carved into him. I walked to the door, still holding the phone on speaker. Where are you? I'm in the hallway, she said, suddenly unsure. I yanked the door open. A woman stood there with her coat half off, clutching her own phone, hair perfect, expression already prepared for a cute hotel hookup, until she saw me and Maya and my boyfriend behind us, red-faced and furious. Her eyes flicked to Maya first. Oh my God. Then to him. Are you serious? My boyfriend stepped forward fast, trying to physically block the doorway. This isn't. The woman held up her phone like a weapon. Don't even start. I kept my voice steady. What's your name? She swallowed. Tess. Maya shook her head, almost laughing through tears. There's always another one. Tess looked at Maya like she was trying to understand what role she'd played. He told me he was seeing someone, but it was casual. My boyfriend snapped, because it is. The room went quiet for a beat, the kind of quiet that comes when someone accidentally says the truth out loud. Maya's face twisted. Casual? He turned to her, eyes hard. You knew what this was. I knew what you told me it was, she fired back. You told me you were single. You told me you hated drama. You told me you wanted something real. He rolled his eyes like she was embarrassing him. You're both acting insane. Tess stepped into the room without asking, like she didn't want to be alone in the hallway with her humiliation. She looked around, bed turned down, wine open, 2 glasses, the toothbrushes in the bathroom, and her face tightened. This is your setup, she said quietly. You do this a lot. He scoffed. You're reading into it. Tessa's hands started shaking. She put her purse down hard on the desk like she needed something solid to hold on to. You told me you had a key because you travel for work. You told me you stay here all the time. He opened his mouth. Tess cut him off. So you're telling me you didn't book this room for me? You booked it for whoever showed up first. Maya let out a sob laugh. That's exactly it. My boyfriend's eyes darted between us, panic rising because he couldn't charm 3 women at once. He tried anyway. He stepped toward me first, voice dropping into that private, coaxing tone he used when he wanted me to swallow things. Babe, you and I can handle this. These, he flicked a hand toward the other 2 like they were trash, don't matter. Something in me cracked clean. I slapped my palm down on the desk so hard the wine glasses rattled. Stop calling me that. He flinched, like he wasn't used to me being loud. I picked up his wallet from the desk and flipped it open. His ID stared back at me, smug and familiar. Then I pulled out his credit card. His eyes sharpened. What are you doing? Testing something, I said. I walked to the phone on the nightstand and dialed the front desk. He reached for my arm again, but Tess stepped between us like a guard dog. Don't touch her. The front desk answered. Front desk, how can I help you? Hi, I said, voice clear. I'm in room 1408. I need to know how many times this guest has stayed here in the last 3 months. The clerk hesitated. Ma'am, My boyfriend snapped. Hang up. I didn't. I have the card used for booking in my hand. I can confirm billing info. His face went white again. Tess whispered, oh my god. The clerk's tone shifted. Careful now. I can't disclose stay history over the phone, ma'am. But if you come down with ID and a cardholder present, we can help. I looked right at my boyfriend. Perfect. We'll be right down. I hung up. My boyfriend stepped forward like he was going to rip the phone out of the wall. You're not doing that. I held up his credit card between 2 fingers. Yes, I am. He stared at it like it was a leash. Then he went for my wrist, fast. No witnesses in the hallway now, no lobby eyes. His fingers closed hard. Maya jumped up from the carpet and grabbed his arm. Let go. Tess shoved his shoulder. Get off her. He snarled, twisting, trying to shake them off, and for the first time I saw how little control he actually had when the world didn't bend for him. The struggle knocked the open wine bottle. It tipped, spilled red across the white bedspread like a stain blooming in real time. My boyfriend froze for a split second, eyes on the bed, as if the mess mattered more than what he'd done. That was my opening. I yanked my wrist free and backed away. You don't touch me again, I said, loud enough that anyone in the hallway could hear through the door. He breathed hard, eyes furious, but he didn't move. Because now he understood, it wasn't just me anymore. It was witnesses. It was consequences. It was 3 women who finally shared the same reality. Tess picked up her purse with trembling hands. Take me to the front desk, she said to me, not him. I want my card off whatever this is. Maya nodded fast. Me too. My boyfriend laughed, but there was no humor in it. You think they're going to help you? You think any of this matters? I looked at the bed, the red wine spreading, soaking into the sheets like proof you couldn't bleach out. It matters, I said. Because you're going to pay for your own mess this time. He stepped into our path, blocking the door one last time. And Tess pulled out her phone and said, boy steady now, move, or I'm calling the police and telling them you put your hands on her. His eyes flicked to the hallway camera above the door. He moved. We walked out together, 3 women in a row, leaving him alone in the room he'd built for lies. And behind us, his voice cracked, sharp with panic. If you walk away, don't come crying when you realize what you just did. The elevator doors closed on his face. The elevator opened to the lobby like nothing had happened upstairs, like this building had never seen a lie in its life. We walked out together, me, Maya, Tess, 3 women who should have never met, moving like a single unit because if one of us broke, he'd slide right back in. The front desk clerk looked up and his face tightened. He remembered us. Hi, I said, and my voice didn't shake. Room 1408. We need to talk about billing and stay history. He's coming down. Tess slapped her phone on the counter and pulled up her banking app, hands still trembling. I need to know if my card was charged here before. I didn't authorize anything except tonight. Maya's eyes were red, but her spine was straight. And I have receipts from the last time. He said it was just me. The clerk nodded slowly, already reaching for the terminal like he'd been waiting for this part. Okay, I can help with disputed charges and documentation. For stay history, I'll need the registered guest present with ID. Good, I said. We'll wait. We didn't have to wait long. The elevator dinged, and he walked out like he'd rehearsed a calmer version of himself on the ride down. Shirt smoothed, expression neutral, eyes scanning the lobby to see who was watching. When he saw the three of us at the desk, his face twitched. Seriously, he said, loud enough for the clerk to hear. You're doing this? Tess turned toward him, voice flat. Yes. Maya didn't even look at him. She stared at the counter like if she looked up she might vomit. He leaned in toward me, trying to make it private with proximity. We can fix this. Just stop. I took one step back so he couldn't use his body like a wall. Show your ID, I said, loud enough that the clerk didn't have to guess what was happening. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me anymore. Like I'd stopped being the easy version. Ma'am, the clerk said carefully, sir, if you could. My boyfriend pulled out his wallet with a sharp motion and slapped his ID down on the counter like he was paying a fine. There. Happy? The clerk typed, eyes moving fast across the screen. His expression stayed professional, but his eyebrows lifted for half a second. That half second was a scream. Tess saw it too. What? She demanded. The clerk cleared his throat. Sir, you've had multiple stays here recently. My boyfriend's mouth tightened. I travel. The clerk kept his eyes on the screen. The stays are not marked as business. They're weekend bookings. Same room type. Frequently. Maya made a small, strangled sound. Tessa's face drained of color. How frequently? The clerk hesitated, then looked up at my boyfriend like he was giving him one last chance to stop this from getting uglier. Sir, do you want me to continue? My boyfriend's eyes flashed. No. I nodded at the clerk. Continue. The clerk's fingers moved again. In the last 90 days, there were 14 stays. 14. Not a mistake. Not a rough patch. Not one night. A schedule. Maya's hands covered her mouth. Tess leaned on the counter like her legs forgot how to work. I felt something inside me go completely still, like a light shutting off. My boyfriend tried to laugh it off. You're acting like I murdered someone. Tess whipped around on him, eyes wild. You used me. Maya's voice came out small but sharp. You used all of us. He turned to Maya, annoyed like she was a customer complaining. You knew what you were signing up for. Maya's tears stopped mid-fall. She straightened like a switch flipped. No, she said. You told me you wanted a future. He rolled his eyes. People say things. That was the moment Tess went from shaking to furious. She shoved her phone toward the clerk. I want a printout. I want documentation. I want whatever I need for fraud. The clerk nodded. I can provide receipts for the charges tied to your card, ma'am. If there are unauthorized charges, we can note that. My boyfriend snapped. You can't do that. The clerk's eyes stayed calm. Sir, if her card is attached to a booking, she has the right to dispute. Tess looked at my boyfriend like he was something she'd scraped off her shoe. You're not going to touch my money again. Maya stepped forward too, voice steady now. And you're not going to touch her again either. My boyfriend's gaze locked on me, the oldest target. You, he said, low. You're really going to throw everything away because of this? I didn't blink. You threw it away. I just picked it up and showed everyone. He leaned closer, anger leaking out of him now, raw and ugly. You think you're strong? You think you're winning? You have no idea what you're doing. Tess lifted her phone. Back up. He ignored her, eyes still on me. You're going to regret this. I believed him. Not because he was powerful, because men like him hate being exposed more than they hate hurting people. I reached into my pocket and pulled out my own phone. I didn't show him a photo this time. I opened our shared apartment access app, his name listed as an authorized user, then tapped it once. Remove access. His eyebrows twitched. What are you doing? I tapped again. Change code. His face changed, panic punching through the anger. Stop. Don't. I tapped again. Sign out all devices. His mouth opened and no sound came out for a second. He looked around like someone might save him from the consequences. No one moved, because now he wasn't charming. He was just a man in a hotel lobby with 3 women staring at him like he was finally what he'd always been. I looked up. You don't have a key anymore. His eyes went wide. My stuff is there. You can pick it up later, I said, with someone else present. Maya exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for months. Tess let out a laugh that was half disbelief, half relief. My boyfriend's face hardened fast, like ice forming over panic. So that's it? You're just done? I stared at him, trying to find anything in his face that looked like remorse. There was none. There was only irritation that his system had been interrupted. I'm done, I said. He stepped forward like he might try something stupid. And the security guard from earlier appeared at his shoulder like a shadow, calm and solid. Sir, the guard said, I'm going to ask you to step away from the desk. My boyfriend looked at the guard, then at me, like he couldn't believe the world wasn't on his side anymore. He took one slow step back, then another, and just like that, he was small. Tess grabbed her documentation from the clerk with shaking hands. Maya wiped her face once, hard, like she was wiping him off. They both looked at me like they were waiting for instructions. I didn't give any. We walked out of the hotel together. The cold air hit my face like a slap, sharp and clean. The parking lot lights buzzed overhead. Cars hummed past like the night was normal. Behind us, through the glass doors, I saw him standing in the lobby, shoulders tense, watching. For a second, I thought he'd follow. Then his phone lit up in his hand again. Another message. Another woman. Another lie to patch. He didn't chase us. He looked down at the screen like it mattered more. Maya's voice was quiet beside me. What now? I didn't answer with a plan. I answered with an action. I opened my phone, scrolled to his contact, and hit block. Tess inhaled like she'd been underwater. Maya nodded like she finally understood. We split in the parking lot without hugs, without promises, like survivors leaving the same fire in different directions. I got into my car and sat there with both hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. My phone buzzed immediately. Unknown number. His number, from a new app, a new mask. Please, just talk to me. I didn't delete it. I didn't reply. I just stared at the reflection of the hotel's neon sign in my windshield, bright, blurred, bleeding color across the glass, like the last trace of him that hadn't evaporated yet. Then I drove away and watched the sign shrink in my mirror until it was nothing but a red dot in the dark.